Buen día a todos. Good morning. Vamos a ir pasando lista rápido para comenzar en un minuto.
I'll do another 5 victory royales where we 1v1.
Ana Hernández está ahí, Aleina, Pasora, Diego Rodríguez. Joey está ahí. Narelis Valentín. Ok. Breana, Juan Diego también está ahí. Nayara, Jeremías Alers. Steven está ahí, muy bien. Steven García. Okay. Astrid Román, Leira Ruiz, Gustavo Cabán, Génesis Nieves, Soto, Gabriela Ortiz, Ana Cortés, y llegó Diego Ramos. Y llegó Arani Mercado. Okay. Pues nada, buen día. Faltan varios estudiantes. Ahorita verificamos la lista otra vez. Quién llegó y quién no llegó. Okay. Okay. La última vez, estudiantes, estuvimos, ¿verdad?, hablando de la lección 1.5. ¿Okay? Recuerde, hay trabajos pendientes de esa lección. ¿Okay? Llegó Julián. Entonces, hoy vamos a hablar de otra lección. Y el viernes, entonces, lo que hacemos es repasar ambas lecciones, ¿ok? So today we're going to start talking about lesson 1.6. And this Friday we're going to review both lessons, ¿ok? Y acá duda daily work, ¿verdad? Y todo eso. ¿Dudas, preguntas hasta aquí? ¿Estamos? Ok. Recuerden, pues, seguir enviando los trabajos que están pendientes. ¿Sí? Vamos a comenzar. I want to share my screen, okay? So we can look today at today's lesson, okay? We're going to talk today about lesson 1.6. That is on your textbook on page 43, I think. So today's lesson is midpoint and distance in the coordinate plane. Okay. Buscar punto medio y distancia en un plano de coordenadas. Okay, let's start. So these are things that you're supposed to know, okay? You're supposed to know how to graph coordinates, okay? And you're supposed to know, number 4, how to work with a root square, okay? So we're gonna see that in the lesson, okay? For example, this is how you put our coordinates. For example, graph A, point A says is -2, sorry, is X, and 3 is the Y. So you're gonna go to -2 in the X part and +3 in the Y, okay? ¿Usted sabe cómo graficar eso? Usted lo ha visto, me imagino. Entonces, el punto B dice 1 and 0. So you're gonna go to 1 in the X coordinate and 0, but you stay there, okay? That's how you graph points, okay, or coordinate planes. Okay? Have you seen that? ¿Usted ha visto eso de hacer gráficas, verdad, de puntos?
Sí.
Okay? Eso no es difícil, okay? Así que eso es importante que lo sepamos o repasemos, okay? We know how to find CD, for example. We just got to add them, okay? And how to simplify that, well, you can do it with a calculator, okay? You just put everything inside the root square. I'm talking about number 4, and that gives you 4, okay? So let's start now with the lesson for today. The objectives are the following. Develop and apply the formula for midpoint. So we're gonna see the formula of midpoint, okay? How to apply it to some problems. And last but not least, use the distance formula and the Pythagorean theorem to find the distance between 2 points, okay? Let's start with that, okay? Some vocabulary word that we're gonna use is the coordinate plane, leg, and the hypotenuse, okay? Esos son algunos de los vocabularios que vamos a ver, okay? We got to start, what is a coordinate plane? That's the first thing we're gonna talk, okay? It's a plane that is divided into 4 regions by a horizontal line called the x-axis, okay? Esa es la línea X, que es horizontal, no sé si es mi mano, and a vertical line that is the y-axis, okay? So that's the first thing we have to know. The location or coordinates of a point are given by an order pair, okay? That's what we saw in the last slide, in the last 2 slides way back, okay? An order pair is x and y, okay? X, you're gonna look at the horizontal line, and if you're looking at the y point, sorry, you're gonna look at the vertical line. Okay? Any questions about that? That's the basic about how to work with a coordinate plane. Okay? Con un plano de coordenadas. Okay? You can find the midpoint of a segment by using the coordinates of its endpoints. Okay? So that's what we are reviewing, what is a coordinate plane, because with that information, we can find the midpoint, okay? You can find the midpoint that we're gonna see in a couple of seconds in a problem, okay? Okay? This is the formula, okay? Maybe you look at this and you say, wow, this is pretty hard. Well, it's not hard. The formula that we're gonna use is this one, and in parentheses, we got x, ¿verdad? La coordenada x1, coordinate x1 plus x2, we divide that by 2. And in the other part, we got y1 and plus y2, and we divide it by 2. And with that, we obtain the midpoint, okay? We're gonna see that in an example. The only thing you have to know is that this is the formula, okay? But esta la formula, this is the formula, the midpoint formula, okay? That's what you have to know, okay? That is also your textbook, okay? On page 43, okay? So that's the formula that we're gonna use for the first examples that we're gonna make, okay? Pregunta hasta aquí, ¿estamos? That's the formula that we're gonna use. Remember, you don't need to know them, ¿verdad? No tienes que saberlas de memoria. You just need to know them, okay? In the test, you can have the formulas. The thing is how you apply the formula, okay? That's what is important. So you don't need to know it in memory, okay? No tienes que saber la memoria. You have to know how to apply it. And that's what we're gonna see in the next slide, okay? How do we use this midpoint formula, okay? Any questions about that? ¿Estamos? No los veo, no los escucho. Habíamos hablado de eso. Se supone que estemos por ahí.
Entendí.
¿Qué?
O sea, espera, oye.
No te escucho, repito otra vez. Nayara, ¿estás hablando? Escucho un abanico, la playa, no sé, escucho un ruido, pero no escucho a nadie ni veo a nadie. Okay, so let's do this problem, okay? Finding the coordinates of a midpoint, okay? I'm gonna do it so we can see it, okay? So we're gonna use the formula, okay? And if you put these order pairs in a graph, this is what it's gonna look like, okay? So point P is located at -8, that is in the axis X, ¿verdad? In the horizontal line, -8, and 3 is gonna be in the y-axis, because you know that the first point is -8 and 3, okay? -8 is in the x-axis, and 3 is in the y-axis. And the other point that we are looking at is Q, okay? Q is in the -2x, and 7 is in the y, okay? So it's gonna look something like that. So the question is how to find the midpoint, okay, of the line segment PQ, okay? How do we do it? Well, we have to use the formula that we've seen in the past slide, okay? To find the midpoint, we got to use this formula, okay? So now, what do we gonna do? Let me write it down so you can see it. We're gonna put everything where it goes. So let me try to do it, okay? It's gonna be something like that. ¿Me están siguiendo? Okay, so we're gonna apply the formula. So, who is point X1? ¿Cuál es el punto X1? X1 is -8, okay? Recuerde, this is X. ¿Me está viendo? This is X1, okay? This is Y, the first Y point. This is X2, okay? I'm just letting you know what is everything and how you're gonna put that in the formula, okay? So X1 is -8, okay? Plus X2, that is -2, okay? Estamos hasta aquí. That's what you have to do. That's the first step, okay? Then you're gonna divide that by 2, okay? So let's go to the other part of the formula. What's the other part? Can someone tell me? It's Y1 plus Y2. That's gonna be 3, that is Y1, and Y2 or point, ¿verdad? Coordinate is gonna be 7. So what do I have to do? ¿Quién me dice? ¿Qué tenemos que hacer ahora?
Sumar y después dividir.
Exacto. Vieron, solamente tenemos que hacer eso. Parece difícil, pero ¿verdad? No es complicado, ¿ok? Se cuenta tu mensaje rápido, perdóneme un momento. Es que a mi madre la operan hoy, así que. Así que deme un momentito, estoy aquí. Mami la opera hoy, así que estaba escribiéndole algo. Okay? So now we're gonna do what we have to do, okay? So it's gonna be something like. Joey, ¿qué pasó? Ah, okay, de la operación, me imagino. Okay, so it's gonna be something like this, okay? So if you add -8 plus -2, it's gonna be -10, okay? Estamos bien hasta ahí, because negative and negative is gonna be negative, okay? If we're adding them. So we're gonna divide that in a couple of seconds. In the other part, we got 3 plus 7. That is 3 plus 7?
10.
10, okay? So we got the same number, but with a positive, ¿verdad? We got a -10 and a +10. So now, students, the only part we have left is divide. So it's gonna be, in the first coordinate, it's gonna be -10 divided by 2 is -5. Yes? Because negative and positive in division is gonna be a negative sign. So the first answer is -5. Any questions about that? ¿Estamos? And the other part, well, 10 divided by 2 is going to be +5. Okay. Pregunta, mi gente. ¿Vieron que no es difícil? That's basically what you're going to do to find the midpoint, okay? You got to use the formula and just add and then divide, okay? Questions about how to do midpoint, how to find the midpoint of the coordinates, okay? ¿Estamos? So that's basically what you have to do. Any questions about this example, number 1?
No.
Ok, perfecto. Debería copiarlo, así que darle un momento para que lo pueda, ¿verdad? Tener por lo menos how to apply the formula. Okay? So we have it then. Okay. Okay. Can I continue? You have it. You can shoot a photo. You can do debe de copiarlo, ¿verdad? Pero estamos, ¿puedo seguir? Que el tiempo se va rápido.
Sí.
Ok, perfecto. Gente, si tiene preguntas, me la tiene que hacer ahora. Yo ni los veo ni los escucho. This is kind of hard for me. Okay, so I'm going to continue then. Okay, so now let's continue. Okay, so well, that's what I did already. Okay, it's going to be -5 and +5. Okay, so now let's try one more. Okay, finding the coordinates of the midpoint of the segment EF. Okay, so let's do it. Usted puede hacerlo también en su libreta y yo voy a hacerlo también para que usted lo vea. ¿Estamos? Are we clear? I'm going to do it and you can do it too. So we do it together. Y después usted me comparte su respuesta, okay? So the first thing we have to know is that we had points, the coordinate points of E and point F. So -2 is x1, okay? And the other point of X is, ¿cuál es el otro punto de X, mi gente? What is the other coordinate plane that is located at X? ¿Cuál es el otro par que es X?
5.
What? 5, exacto. So that is x2 because 5 is also in the x-axis. So the y-axis are what numbers? Lo que está en la Y.
3 y negativo 3.
Exacto, perfecto. ¿Viste? No es difícil, okay? So it's going to be y1 and y2, okay? So now we're going to use the formula, the same formula, students, the same formula. So let me write it down. It's going to be m to find the midpoint. And we got the same formula. It's going to be x1 plus x2 divided by
2.
2, exactly. So in the other part, we're going to work with the y values, and it's going to be y1 plus y second one, second, and that is also going to be divided by 2. Okay, so that's basically the formula. So now you have to substitute, put everything where it goes, and it's going to be something like this. Okay, it's just going to be -2 plus 5. Okay, and that's going to be divided by 2. Okay, and in the other part of the y values or the vertical points, it's going to be 3 plus -3. Okay, so Houston, we have a problem there. Okay, so we're going to add or subtract, depends on the signs. So in the first part, what is the answer, students? -2 plus 5 is, who can tell me? Se supone que sepamos eso. -2 plus 5 is 3 positivo, exacto. Ok, gracias Juan Diego, también escribí. So it's going to be 3 divided by 2. And what happens in the other part of the formula? +3 plus -3 is?
0.
0, okay? So we got 0 divided by 2. Okay, so let's see what else we can do. If we divide 3 by 2, it's going to be 1.5, okay? And if we divide 0 divided by 2, what is the answer then?
0.
Exacto. So that's basically the answer of this midpoint, okay? Any questions about how to apply this formula? Okay, so that's gonna be the midpoint, okay, of the segment EF. Pregunta, ¿estamos? So this is not hard. It's just apply the formula and you got it, okay? ¿Estamos? Okay.
Mister, espérate un momento antes que lo cambie.
Sí. Dale, no te preocupes. Okay, take your notes, students. That's important.
Ya.
Okay. Any questions, students? ¿Estamos? Okay. So let's continue then. Okay. So we have seen so far 2 examples of how to find the coordinates of a midpoint. Okay. So let's continue. Okay, perfect. So the answer is gonna be, ¿verdad? It can say 3 divided by 2 and 0 or 1.5 is the same thing. Okay. Estamos. And if you find the coordinates in the graph, it's gonna look something like this. Okay. ¿Alguien no entiende cómo poner los pares de coordenadas de la gráfica? Of how to find these coordinates in the graphs. Someone doesn't understand that. O estamos bien con eso. Hello, ¿alguien tiene problema de cómo buscar en la gráfica esos puntos? ¿Verdad? The first one is -2, 3, and 5, -3. ¿Alguien sabe o tiene dudas, verdad? ¿Están claros con eso?
Sí.
Okay, it's not hard. It's just put the coordinates in the graph and unite the points so you have the segment. Okay, es un segmento, recuerden. We are working with segments in this part. Okay, so we can continue. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna do now another kind of example. So we're gonna be finding the coordinates of an endpoint. Okay, so this example says the following: finding the coordinates of an endpoint. M is the midpoint of segment x, y. X has coordinates of 2, 7, and M has coordinates of 6 and 1. So we're gonna be finding the coordinates of y. Okay. So let's try to do this example. It's gonna be a little different. Okay. But let's try to do it. Okay. So let's start with this example. Okay, voy a escribir para que lo vean. Okay. So we're gonna start looking at the coordinates of y. Okay. So let me show you the midpoint formula. Okay. So it's gonna be something like this. Okay. The midpoint formula we have seen so far is this one. Okay. So let me show it to you. Okay. So we got the M. Okay. La M, ¿cuál es la M? 6, 1. So students, what we are missing here in this problem? We got the X coordinates, but what are we missing then? ¿Qué nos hace falta?
The Y.
The Y. So we got to find the Y. Nos da la M, nos da el midpoint. So we got to find the endpoints of Y. So let me do it. Okay. So this is the formula that we're gonna use. Okay. The midpoint formula. It's gonna be something like that, like this. We got X. Okay. Let me erase that. Okay. So we got the X values. So let me show it to you. We got that X1 is 2. Okay. And we also got, let me show it to you. We got also Y1. Okay. Tenemos X1 y Y1. ¿Qué nos falta entonces, estudiantes? Nos falta entonces, ¿verdad? X2 y Y2. Okay. Okay, so let me show it to you. Okay, so we got 2, and we are missing the other part of the formula. Okay, so let's put an X. Okay, so that's gonna be divided by 2. ¿Están conmigo? And in the other part, we're gonna have 7. Okay, and we are missing what? The other part of the formula. Okay, so now let's try to do this problem. Okay, so let's start working with the X coordinate. Okay, follow me. ¿Cuál es la coordenada de X en el midpoint? Pues, ¿verdad? ¿Cuál sería esta sería la coordenada X y esta sería la Y. Ok, vamos a empezar. Ok, find. Vamos a buscar primero la X. Ok, la X que está missing. Ok, ¿están conmigo? ¿Están perdidos?
Y
Okay, we want to find the x coordinate that we are missing. Okay, so let's start finding the coordinate or the x coordinate. Sorry, the x coordinate. Okay, so now let's see how the formula of this looks like. Okay, porque estaba buscando las coordenadas de y. Okay. Okay, so let's do it. It's gonna be something like this. It's gonna be 6, and we're gonna use this part. Okay, this part of the formula. Okay, so it's gonna be 2 plus x divided by 2. Okay, so it's gonna look like this. Okay, so now we got to multiply both sides by 2. Okay, so why we want to do that? Because we want this number to be out of this place. So if we multiply by 2, what happens? This cancel with this. Okay, and if we multiply by 2 in this part, what happens in the other part of the equation? ¿Quién me dice? ¿Qué pasa a la otra parte de este problema? If we multiply by 2 here, we got to multiply in the other side by
2.
By 2. Okay, thank you. So let's multiply by 2 in the other part. So in the other part, 2 times 6 is 12. Okay, and if we multiply, in this part, what happens? Well, 2 cancels with 2, so we have left 2 plus x. Hasta ahí, ¿estamos bien? So what do you see we have to do now? We got to find the value of. ¿Qué tenemos que buscar? ¿El valor de qué letra? Gente, si estamos buscando
X.
X. So we're going to apply a basic algebra. So we can move this number to the other side or subtract 2. It's the same. So it's going to be something like this. 12 minus 2 equals X. So what is going to be the answer? Let me do it in this part. Okay. ¿Cuánto da eso, estudiante? It's going to be 10, exactly. 10. So what's the value of X, students? ¿Verdad?
1.
¿Cómo? Va a ser 10 realmente. ¿Okay? ¿Okay? Porque si usted divide, ¿verdad? Por 1, pues va a ser lo mismo, ¿verdad? 10 entre 1 va a ser 10. ¿Okay? ¿Estamos? ¿Sí o no lo vimos?
Sí.
Okay, so now let's do the other part. We got to find the other coordinate that we're missing. That is the y coordinate. Vamos a hacerlo aquí arriba. Okay, espero que. Now we're gonna use what? This part. Yes or no? We're gonna use the other part of the formula. Okay. So we're gonna find now, students, find the y coordinate. Okay, in your book, in your textbook, you have another example of those. Okay, puede mirarlo también. Está en la página 44, in page 44. I'm doing this one that is not done. Okay, so how do we do it? Basically the same process. Okay, but now we're gonna use what number? We're gonna use the number 1. Okay, vamos a usar el 1. ¿Por qué? ¿Quién me dice? Because we're working with this part now. Okay, estamos. So it's gonna be something like this, students. Okay, it's gonna be 1 equals this part of the equation. Okay, it's gonna be 7. Estamos viendo cómo lo hacemos, estudiante. Hay que hacerlo paso a paso. Okay, but we're gonna divide also by 2. Why? Because we want to cancel this part. Okay, estamos hasta ahí. So we're gonna multiply by 2 again because we want to cancel what? The division. Okay, so if we multiply by 2, what's gonna happen in the other side? ¿Qué me dice? Well, you have to divide by 2 also. Okay, estamos.
Sí.
So it's gonna be 2 times 1 is gonna be 2, and in the other side we got 7 plus y. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna move this number to the other side, or it's the same as subtracting 7. So it's gonna be 2 minus 7 equals y. So what is the answer of y then? ¿Cuánto vale la y? What is gonna be the value of that coordinate?
5.
It's gonna be -5. Tengan cuidado, it's gonna be -5. Remember the rules, okay? Because this is the same as saying 2 plus -7. So it's gonna be -5, okay? ¿Entendimos eso? Se supone que sepamos las reglas de los signos, okay? Eso lo vimos en álgebra 1, ¿verdad? En octavo grado, se supone. Okay? So what's the coordinates of y? ¿Quién me dice cuáles son las coordenadas de y entonces? Las que estamos buscando, ¿cuáles son? ¿Cuál sería entonces, mi gente?
10, -5.
Exacto, thank you. So, we are done, okay? Eso es lo que tienes que hacer cuando tienes que buscar tú las coordenadas, okay? You're going the other way. Okay, so the coordinates of y, que son las que estamos buscando, let me write them down, of y are +10 and -5, okay? Y eso sería, ¿verdad? ¿Verdad? Si usted escribiría, esto sería lo que me faltaba, esto sería x2 and, ¿y cuál sería el -5? And, y la y2, ¿ok? ¿Estamos? Pregunta, mi gente. Esta sería la respuesta final. ¿Ok? ¿Dudas, preguntas de este tipo de ejemplos? Este sería el caso cuando estamos buscando, ¿verdad? Cuando te doy el midpoint, te doy una coordenada, ¿verdad? Y tú tienes que buscar las que faltan. ¿Ok? ¿Dudas, preguntas? Any questions about how to do this?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, if you want to see another example, you can look at it in your page 44. Okay, so can I erase this? You have it? You can have a photo of this, okay?
Yes.
Okay, perfecto. Let's continue. Okay. So, voilà, there is all the things I did. So, okay, that's basically the same I did. Okay. So, voilà, it's 10x, and in the other part, it's going to be -5. Okay. ¿Estamos? So, the coordinates of y are 10 and -5. Pregunta hasta aquí. ¿Estamos, mi gente? So, that is the same that I did. Okay. Any questions of this example?
No.
Okay.
No.
We're all okay. So let's try this one, okay? Este ejemplo, ¿verdad? Se hace igual, okay? Vamos a verlo, okay? So we have S is the midpoint of segment RT, okay? And R has coordinates of -6 and -1, and S has coordinates of -1 and +1, okay? So what's the question, students? ¿Quién me dice cuál es la pregunta? What is the thing we're looking for?
To find coordinate T.
Okay, we're trying to find the coordinates of T. Okay, so let's try this example so you can see it. Okay, debe hacerlo conmigo en su libreta. Okay, para que vaya practicando. Okay, so let's start with the first part. I'm gonna write what we have. Okay, we got M, ¿verdad? Tenemos M. M es, ¿verdad? O S. Déjame escribir realmente aquí S. Pero es lo mismo, ¿verdad? S sería el midpoint. Okay. ¿Y cuáles son las coordenadas de S? Well, the coordinates of S are -1, okay, and +1, okay? So that's the midpoint, okay? So in the other side, we have the coordinates of R, okay? Esto sería x1, ¿y cuál sería la otra, mi gente? Y ese -1, ¿qué sería? ¿Qué sería el? Exacto, y, the first y coordinate, okay? So let's put everything in the formula, okay? So we can, okay, so it's gonna be 6, okay? 6 plus x, because we don't know that value, and that's gonna be divided by 2. This is the same kind of example, okay? And in the other part, we got that is -1, and we don't know the other y value, okay? So we just put plus y, okay? And that's gonna be divided by 2, okay? So what do we do now? We're gonna start like the example in the past slide. We're gonna find the coordinates of x, x2, okay? Estamos. So how do we do it? We're gonna do it the same way, okay? Okay, so we are trying to find the x coordinate that we're missing, okay? Así que vamos a hacerlo igual, mi gente. Va a verlo ahora. Find the x coordinate, ¿verdad? La coordenada de x. Okay, so let me do it with you. Okay. ¿Está haciendo usted también ahí? Se supone que sí. Se supone que tengan la cámara prendida, tengan su libreta ahí. Están rompiendo las reglas, mi gente. Se supone que estemos ahí. Okay. So let me do it. Okay. So it's gonna be something like this. Okay. We're gonna start with this. ¿verdad? It's gonna be -1 equals to this part of the formula. Okay. So it's gonna be -6 plus x divided by 2. Okay. The question I'm gonna ask is, how do you cancel that +2? How do you cancel the division? Lo hicimos ahorita. ¿Cómo usted?
By multiplying 2 times 2 and -1 times 2.
Exacto. Basically the same, ¿verdad? The same thing. Okay. So we're gonna multiply by 2, and we're gonna cancel this. And in the other side, we also have to multiply by 2. Okay. So it's gonna be something like this. It's gonna be -2. Okay, because 2 times 1 is -2. And in this part, we have -6 plus x. So what do we do now? Basic algebra, okay? So we're gonna move the -6 to the other side, or it's the same as adding 6. Sería lo mismo que sumar 6. ¿Cuánto nos da eso, mi gente? -2 plus 6. What's the answer of that?
4.
4, exactly. So the x coordinate is 4. Entendimos. So we got the first coordinate of t, okay? Tenemos la primera coordenada de t. Okay? Any questions about how to find the x coordinate? ¿Estamos? So now let's do the other part of the coordinate. Let's find y, okay? Vamos a hacerlo, voy a cambiar el color. I'm gonna do it with this color, okay? So now we're gonna work with the other number, okay? The +1 and the other part of the formula, okay? Estamos. So now we're gonna find the y, find the y coordinate, okay? So let me show you how do we do it. Okay, find the y coordinate. Estamos. So let me put everything where it goes. Okay, so let's try to do this one now. Okay, so I'm gonna have +1, okay, is equal to -1 plus y, that is the thing we're trying to look for, and 2. So what do we do now? The same thing, okay? We're gonna cancel the 2 by multiplying both sides by 2, okay? Estamos viendo que es lo mismo, mi gente. Básicamente lo mismo de nuevo, okay? So when we multiply 2 in both sides, what do you see? This part is gonna give you 2, okay? And in this part, you're gonna have -1 plus y. ¿Estamos? Okay,
Sí.
so when you move these numbers, this number to the other side is the same as adding 1. So it's gonna be 2 plus 1, and 2 plus 1 is 3. Thank you, 3. So we are done with this example. So the coordinates of t are the following, okay? Coordinates of t are 4 and 3, okay? You see, it's not hard. Preguntas de cómo se hace. Es solamente, ¿verdad? Aplicar la fórmula y sustituir. Preguntas de cómo se hace esto. Hicimos 2 ejemplos de este ejemplo. Okay? We do 2 examples of how to find the coordinates. Okay? Pregunta, mi gente. Estas son de T. Find the coordinates of T. R, 4. 4 is x2. And 3 is y, ¿verdad? La y, la segunda coordenada de y. Pregunta, mi gente. So basically, this is how you gonna work with it. Okay? Questions about these examples. Okay? Estamos. Can I erase this? So that's basically how you work.
Espérate un momento.
¿Cómo es? No te escucho.
Que no lo borres todavía.
Okay, perfecto. Okay. Any other questions, students? ¿Alguna otra cosita que alguien quiera decir? Okay, so I don't think it's hard. It's just,
Ya.
okay, perfecto. Se supone que usted tome nota de la ISMAN de matemática, okay? Okay, let me see what we have. Okay, so this is basically the example explained, okay? Okay. Okay, so X is gonna be 4 and Y is gonna be 3, okay? Estamos. So the coordinates of T are 4, 3, okay? Any questions? Estamos bien, ¿verdad?
Sí.
I'm gonna upload this presentation to LMS, okay? Quiere que lo haga, ¿verdad? Yo puedo subirla para que usted tenga esto, okay? Estamos. So you can have it
Yes.
on the LMS. Okay? Como que estamos explicando paso a paso. Okay? Okay, so I don't think I'm gonna have time for this. Okay, so next class we're gonna end this. Okay, so hasta aquí llegamos hoy. Antes que se vaya, voy a decirle que van a trabajar hoy. ¿Estamos? ¿Sí o no?
Sí.
Mañana no tenemos asignación. ¿Escuchamos eso? Mañana jueves no hay asignación de geometría. ¿Entendimos o no? ¿Entendimos eso?
Sí.
So tenemos, ¿verdad? Tenemos pendiente, escuchen, tenemos pendiente la asignación del lunes, que fue los ejercicios que copiamos de la pizarra, ¿se acuerdan? Eso está pendiente, ¿ok? Tenemos pendiente lo que le di de libros ayer, ¿verdad? Lo del libro, de la sección 1.5. Eso lo vimos en el LMS, ¿verdad? ¿Se acuerdan? Que lo vimos. ¿Ok?
Sí.
Y hoy le voy a escribir aquí lo que va a hacer para hoy, ¿ok? Recuerden, tiene hasta el viernes para entregar estas cosas, ¿estamos? So,